Welcome into a Slice of Life hour with me, Eugene Low, here on 938 Live, your dose of do-it-yourself motivation. And helping us do this is my guest today, Lay Keng, who has spent more than 17 years in the service industry. A life-changing event helped her change her career path. And today, she is a corporate trainer and life coach. And the message that she wants to share with all of us today is how changing our mindset can transform our lives. Lay Keng, very glad to have you with us today. Thanks for coming in. First of all, tell us your story then. You spent 17 years in the service industry. What made you want to switch careers?
Well, I met an accident on board 5 years ago. The drain cut kind of topper, and I sustained some injuries on
you were airline crew.
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm. And I injured my wrist, and initially it didn't look so severe, but later we found out that there was a need for surgery because there was subluxations, there were ligament tear and cartilage damage. And after the surgery, actually, when I thought, after the surgery, usually you will recover fully. But what surprises me was after the surgery, when I was attempting to have my meal, I realized I couldn't even lift out a fork. Okay. Something that I've been doing, for the past 30 over years, and suddenly I couldn't do it.
Yeah, we all take these things for granted, right? Until the day comes when we can't do simple things like that.
That can't be. So I tried a few times and it still didn't work.
Yeah.
So initially I was pretty taken aback, and I was surprised. I did not let myself, go into self-pity for a long time. It's like a split second, and then I changed my thought immediately and tell myself that, okay, nope, Lay Keng, this is not going to work. I can't let this go, I can't let this put me down. I must do something about it. So I took action immediately. Because I was down with depression 2 years before that, because my dad suddenly passed away, and then within 8 months I went to the crematorium 4 times because of, and it kind of hit me very badly. So every time when I thought something is, I've improved, I'm getting better, things happen. So just when I thought that everything is fine now, this accident happened. So I started to take up courses.
Yeah. I mean, during these times, it's just very human and very natural to think, why is this happening to me, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So how did you, get over that kind of paralyzing mindset that most of us find we fall into so spontaneously?
Yeah, I mean, I think most of us would think like, okay, why me? Why is this happening to me? One after another. When is it going to end? It happens to me as well initially, but I tell myself, no, this is not going to work. I need to do something about it. And I took up courses. I just signed up for whatever courses that is available. In fact, I completed my company's in-house courses, and I didn't realize my MC dragged from weeks to months, and then it dragged to a year. And I just want to keep myself occupied, so that my mind will not go down and start thinking of okay, why me and all these things.
Keep busy, right? I mean, it's quite remarkable how you actually, forced yourself to do that, because, most people would continue to dwell on their problems, and it just makes it worse. It's just that thought cycle that is so damaging because there is no end to it, right?
Yes, that's right. So, I actually think that it was a blessing in disguise. If not for the accident, I wouldn't have gone to take up all these courses. If not for the accident, I would still be in the airline flying.
I'm curious though. I mean, when all these things were happening to you, how alone were you to kind of gather yourself together? Did you have any support at all?
Actually, I did all this on my own. I go through this whole process by myself.
You did not talk to anyone? Oh dear, did you?
Okay, I did talk to my girlfriend.
Okay.
But I have to say, probably today is the day that my family members will know that what I was going through.
Right, okay.
Yeah, because they were very worried about me.
Yeah.
Because at my dad's funeral, I actually fainted, and suddenly I get a lot of concerns from people who never pay attention to me. So I don't want them to worry, so I manage all by myself.
a lot of us have that tendency, right? We keep it to ourselves because we think it's very noble, that we don't want to, burden our loved ones with that. But it can be quite, I mean, you were very fortunate in the sense that you had the correct mindset to keep yourself busy, go for courses and not collapse totally. But then most people, when you keep it to yourself, that is when you can go into a downward spiral.
Yeah. That's why a lot of clients who come to me, I always tell them, the first thing they will say, like, okay, it's so easy for you to say it, but it's not going to be easy to do it. But I believe in, if you are really wanting to do something and you really set your mind that you want to change for the better, with perseverance and determination, you will be able to do it. Because I've got many clients who actually overcome all their challenges as well. I think to think of comparing to them, sometimes I just think that, okay, mine is just, really minor.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about talking with other people as well, right? Because very often when we don't talk to people, and we stay away, we withdraw from society, we can imagine that our problems are really quite major. They're just the most horrible thing that can happen to anyone. Right. But it's not true. Other people go through even worse things.
Yes.
So that's why talking to other people also helps you in that way. It gives you a bigger, perspective.
Well, I guess talking to people works. The support itself is actually very important, from friends and people around you. And for me, I think I take a lot of consolation by reading up motivational books, inspiring, this things.
You're very self-motivated. That is wonderful, So, I mean, from that short chat I had with you, I mean, a couple of things that we can pick up. I mean, if we're going through a rough patch, right, first of all, I mean, don't keep it to yourself. And if you really want to, feel you have to, then you keep busy, keep your thoughts, keep your mind from wandering, so take up courses, read positive literature, things like that, and really, I mean, take the first step. It's not going to be easy. No one says it's going to be easy, but like you said, if you persevere, of course you will fail now and then. There'll be lapses, there'll be relapses, but then you pick yourself up and you try and and then today you are a life coach.
I didn't expect myself to be in doing this. It's really a huge shift from what I was doing from a stewardess to what I'm doing now. Giving trainings and coaching.
You're still working in service of others, which is
it is. But I would say the sense of satisfaction is very different.
Yes.
Yeah, seeing the transformation in the people that I have helped, even in classes, my students, and when they come back to me and say that, wow, Keng, you have really inspired me, I feel so motivated. And especially when I see the transformation in them, I think it's just very wonderful.
And that's why you've made the career switch from the airline industry to become a corporate trainer and life coach. You can find out more about Lay Keng's work over at her Facebook page. It's MBS Wellness. And we'll continue to chat with Lay Keng more about her story and how changing her mindset. What sort of mindsets are we talking about that can help us transform our lives for the better? A Slice of Life Hour continues with me, Eugene Loh, here on 938 Live in just a couple of minutes. DIY motivation here on A Slice of Life on 938 Live. Thank you so much for joining us and helping us help ourselves. My guest today is Tan Lay Keng, who before she became a corporate trainer and life coach, spent 17 years in the service industry, but a life-changing event helped her change her career path. And like we were chatting about earlier, Lay Keng, it doesn't matter, what it is. I mean, we all go through rough patches in our lives. Some people, the patches are rougher than others, I suppose. And then that's when we fall into the risk of going into depression, which is very real for anybody, sort of, because we all experience loss, whether it's pain from losing a loved one or losing a job or losing a limb or whatever, It can affect us really. And the important thing is not to close up and not to kind of like implode, because many of us feel that I should just keep this to myself. If I ignore it will go away. That sort of thing. It's a very common sort of thing. We all kind of like feel that we don't want to burden our loved ones by telling them our problems, but that's absolutely shouldn't do that at all. We should talk to people.
I agree with you. I mean, I'm glad that I have got a lot of friends who are always there for me.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're always helping me and encouraging me. So that makes a huge difference.
Yes, and if you feel you can't talk to your family for whatever reason it is, you can always talk to someone who is, able to listen to you, a counselor or a coach or whatever, right?
Yes.
Whoever. Yeah.
And sometimes I think what you can do is write it down.
Yes. Absolutely. Get it out of your system.
In whichever way, whether you talk it out or you just write it out. Yeah, I think it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Just don't bottle it up all inside.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. So what about that period in your life when you took up a lot of courses and the reason for doing that was just to keep yourself busy, but then that had a very positive side effect.
Yes, right? I didn't expect it. I was just taking those courses just to keep myself busy, and in the end, when I was told that my specialist suggested that I have to leave the airline, because after 1 years of therapy sessions, I could not even leave out a jug of water then, and that is the major thing that we do in the airline. So I was kind of lost for a period, because I was wondering, okay, I've been doing this for so many years.
Yeah,
so
you know it
what
so
next?
well, and and
so
obviously you loved your job as well, right? Yeah. So
and I asked myself, because I've got a few offers, and I asked myself if I want to just take any other job and do a 9-to-5 job, or what do I want? And I realized when I sit down and really think about it, I find that I'm most happiest when I'm coaching someone. I can actually feel my eyes sparkle, and the happiness is really from within me. And seeing them smile and transformation, and I thought, okay, I think that's what I want to do. I want to do something with purpose, and something that is really meaningful to me. Yeah.
When you feel every fiber of your being just kind of like lighting up when you're doing it, that's when you know that is the thing for you, right?
Yes. I have, quite a number of people who come to me and say, okay, can you help me to find my purpose? So I always tell them, okay, why don't you talk about what you really like? And then think of the moment where, your eyes really sparkle and you feel the happiest. And I think that is something that you should really look into.
Yeah. And many of us feel that, we kind of like downplay our passions, right?
Yes.
They tell you like, oh, well, I feel like that way when I cook, but, so what? And they think it's a very trivial thing, but it need not be, because if you have the passion for that thing, whatever it is, and you keep honing it, and the thing about it is also when you love it, you do your best. And
when you talk to someone about what you really like, you can feel the difference. The vibes are different. The energy is, is different. Yeah.
So you decided that this was the route for you to go, because you feel that fulfillment, helping people to find their fulfillment as well.
That's right. And I always think, when I help someone, though it's like one-to-one, I'm actually helping a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because those around them are all affected.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think it's amazing, because when I help them, I was just wondering, okay, is this message for me or for them?
Right.
Because there are a lot of things that you can learn from, all my clients that, their issues, and I think that is really wonderful.
It really expands your whole, your own personal horizon as well when you talk to people, and you may think that it's you're helping other people, but yes, you're actually helping yourself as well.
That's right.
Because you gain so many different perspectives, and very often, when you find yourself perhaps coming to a sort of philosophy that they think might help other people, it really helps you as well.
Yes.
You're really talking to yourself in a way.
And especially when you talk to these people, you realize, oh, okay, I think their issues are, their challenges are bigger than mine, What is my, it's nothing at all.
And the other thing about, I think, was, when I think it's experimentation, because very often we think we don't know what our passion is, we don't know what our purpose is, but then, like what you did as well was to go for courses, read books, right?
Yes.
I mean, like, just absorb whatever you can.
Yes.
And then, you experiment with it. Then when you find the aha moment, you will know that that's the thing
right.
for you.
I mean, we never know what it is going to be, and sometimes things just happen. Yeah, taking on all those courses, I've never expected myself to be a hypnotherapist, to be a coach, but it turned out to be that way.
Yeah, and then you talk to people, and then you get even more perspectives, and you were just really learning all the time from, whoever and whatever.
That's right.
Right, yeah. That's great. Lay Keng is my guest today. She is a corporate trainer and life coach, telling us more about changing our mindsets to transform our lives. Coming up in the final part of the show, we'll get her perspectives on what those mindsets are and how we can change them to transform our lives in more positive and enabling ways. I'm Eugene Loh. Do stay with me here on A Slice of Life on 938 Live, continuing in about 15 minutes after headline news, sport and business. Our thoughts rule our world, don't they? And a lot of what happens in the physical world happens first in the mind as well. So today we're talking about how changing our mindsets can transform our lives in more enabling and positive ways. Sharing her story with us is my guest, Lay Keng, who before she became a corporate trainer and life coach, spent more than 17 years in the service industry, but she suffered an accident there, which progressed to cause her not to be able to do the job that well anymore. And it was a very difficult period for you, Lay Keng, but you're so self-motivated and remarkably, you thought about it and you came to a conclusion that no, I'm not going to let negative thought cycles get me down because it's going nowhere. I'm going to keep busy. I'm going to sign up for courses, learn more about things, whatever it is.
Whatever,
right?
just so that I don't have time, free time to think about all these negative things. And I think the most important thing is to be aware of it. To be aware that, okay, I have this mindset, the negative part of it.
Yes.
And then acknowledge the fact that, okay, I'm having this thought. This is no good. If I continue to have with this negative mindset, what will happen?
Yes.
So I accept that.
So you were practicing mindfulness even before you learned about it.
Yes.
That's great.
First you be aware of it and then acknowledge the fact that you're having this issue and accept it.
Yeah.
Because I realize a lot of times we try to run away from it. Or is that okay? It's okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
But the moment you accept it and then you take action, what you can do, and look at the situations that's happening. What can you learn from the situation? Instead of dwelling into, be profoundly negative about it, why not look at it as a wonderful opportunity? What can you learn about it?
Yeah.
And then what actions can you do? How can you improve the situation? I think that is better than,
So go at it from a very very logical, reasonable sort of standpoint, which is admittedly it's tough to do when you're in that state, right? When your mind is just going, very turbulent.
It's not easy.
Yes.
It takes a lot time.
Yes.
If you're just starting to do it, but you will be able to. And I think the important thing is also to be aware of the emotions that you're having.
Yes.
The emotions that's attached to this, negative thoughts that you have. So, when I know that I have this negative mindset, I ask myself, what emotions am I feeling then?
Yeah. And it's important also not to blame ourselves for those for feeling those negative emotions, because it is very human to do that. But we shouldn't blame ourselves, and very often the guilt is what is the heaviest burden.
Not to put ourselves in the in the so-called victim mentality. Because the moment you put yourself in the victim mentality, you start to blame yourself, you start to blame others, blame the environment, everything else.
Yes.
But you're not taking action. It just draws you further.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So change that, and then really seriously look at what emotions is involved here. Because a lot of time, if you have this negative mindset, it will be negative emotions. So work on that. Yeah.
How can we?
Okay.
If you can
very
just
simple
give examples.
Yeah. Let's look at this 5A method. Okay. The 5A stands for aware. Okay. Be aware of your emotions, and acknowledge that. Okay. Then you accept the fact that you are having this emotion. Okay. After that, the action part is that you take deep breath. Start off with 5 deep breaths. Acknowledge this, and then after that, the most important thing that you have to do is appreciate yourself. Appreciate yourself for making the effort and wanting to change this. Yeah, I think that is the most important thing, because a lot of times we do not appreciate ourselves for what we are doing.
Yes.
Even little things that we are doing.
Yeah.
It's going to make a lot of difference.
Yeah, it does. And very often also appreciating, why it happened.
Yes.
Can also help a lot.
Yes.
Because we often think there is so much injustice that happens to us, and then everything is about loss, everything is so unfair.
Yes.
And those feelings are quite natural. But when we continue to keep thinking in that way, it doesn't solve anything. That's the thing.
And also the other thing is to be responsible for your own emotions. Because when someone makes a comment, sometimes we'll feel like, okay, you start to go into a negative mindset.
Yes.
What you do is ask yourself, is this the perspective of this person who comment that? Do you agree with it?
Yeah. Is
if
it really
you don't
true?
agree with it, then why should you be upset about it?
Yeah.
That is their viewpoint. They can have different thoughts, different perspective on issues.
Yeah.
But do you agree with that? If you don't agree and you think that no, this is not how I think, then why should you get mad over someone's comment?
Absolutely. And it's important also that we can kind of like differentiate between what is constructive sort of criticism from simple like insults. If somebody is just plain nasty, we don't have to, it's only, if we accept the gift of insult, that's when it becomes, a gift. But if we don't, we just give it back.
It's your choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we are all responsible for our own choice. We can choose to be happy about it, or we can choose to, be upset about someone's comment.
Yeah. And it's quite, it's quite amazing, really. And sometimes, very often, this happens on hindsight. Also, when you think back, it's amazing how very little things can trouble you so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
I used to be like that, and the all these courses that I've been taking, and the books that I've been reading, and it helps, slowly getting into it. Because for a start, people might think that, wow, this is so tough, I can't do it. But trust me, as long as you are determined and you want to do something, and you take the first step. The first step is always the most challenging part.
Yes.
Yeah, we always, there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear, a lot of doubts. But once you take that action, things will just move. And with perseverance and determination, anyone can change themselves. You can transform your life.
Yeah, if other people can do it, so can you.
That's right.
I mean, quite amazingly, we are quite similar. We're not that different, and methods that have proven successful or tenable for others can work for you if you kind of like take it the right way, and most importantly, trust in yourself and take that action.
Yeah,
right?
believe that you can do it. Have faith and believe yourself. The moment you have all this in you, you can change things.
Yeah, and very often it's that constant reminder as well.
Yes.
It's not about like overnight it happens and that's it for the rest of my life. It's going to be
at
great.
times you may just go back to that. It's okay.
Yeah.
Don't be so harsh on yourself and say that, okay, I'm going back. It happens to all of us, and it's how you manage it again.
Yeah.
Change it. Change your state. Change your your perspective on things, and things will be different.
Yeah. It's a consistent and conscious effort at it that makes it work as well.
Yeah. We all go through different phases, and sometimes things happen and it affects us.
Yeah.
So accept the fact that, okay, this is happening and it's okay. Don't blame yourself for it or blame anyone, but accept that, okay, I acknowledge this. This is happening, so what can I do about it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just choosing the more constructive thought.
That's right.
If you think, okay, fine, I'm thinking this thought, and it's okay to think this thought, but it's getting me anywhere, and if it isn't, then change it to something else.
Yeah.
We're not saying that this is a right or wrong thing, black or white, but if it doesn't work for you, then you can try it other ways that might work better for you.
Yeah, sometimes what I do is, I became a bit more conscious.
Yeah.
When I have got this negative thoughts that comes in, I would tell myself, stop.
Oh, yes. Press the stop button.
Yes, press the stop button. And then you take a few deep breaths.
Yeah.
And then, once you calm yourself down, pause.
Yeah.
And calm yourself down, then you realize, okay, just now that wasn't very nice. So what can I do about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for me, it changes very fast.
Wow.
The switch was very fast.
Yeah. Yeah. And it takes practice as well.
Yes.
It's something that you have to keep on doing.
Yes.
And yeah. Okay. So we let's go back to let's end off with the 5 A's that you shared with us, just to quickly recap them again. We're always going to go through we're always going to face challenges in life, whether they're as small as an insult from somebody or as large as, say, losing a loved one or losing a job, whatever, right? We all are destined to feel trauma in life. So that's something that we can't escape from. None of us can. But the important thing is to take these 5 A's. First of all, be aware.
Yes, be aware of it.
Yeah.
Aware of the emotions, the thoughts that you have. And next step is
be aware of what they're doing to us as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then acknowledge the fact that, okay, this is happening.
Yeah.
I'm having this emotion.
Yes.
Yeah. How do I feel about it?
Yes.
And then
there are some things that are true, and there are some things that are just thoughts.
Yeah. Do I agree? If it's a comment by someone else, then do you agree with it? If not, then it's fine. Acknowledge this fact. You're still there. And then accept it.
Accept it.
Yeah. I think that's very important. You have to accept it before you can change it.
Yeah.
Because, I think...
And stop guilt-tripping yourself.
Yes. Stop blaming yourself or anyone else. And then the next one would be taking action. And like I mentioned, to take action, what you do is to start off with 5 deep breaths. And if you think you need more, go ahead. You can stretch to 10. Yeah, but taking deep breath is actually helping you to calm yourself down. It gives you time to pause and really, change your mindset.
It's a buffer. It's a buffer for us to because as it's instinctive living things, we all react quite instinctively to certain kind of stimuli, right? But when we give ourselves that space to say, hey, what am I doing? That's when we start thinking more logically, and then we can take action. From that, you can go on to
buffer time for you.
Yes. And action also involves doing other things as well, like it could be talking to someone, it could be writing it out, it could be reading something that keeps your mind off that for a while, taking up courses, anything that kind of like
something that's that can help you in the situation,
or exercise. Anything that propels you in the more enabling path.
Yes, use these 5 A's in whichever situations, and then you change it. Adapt it to what you are facing.
Yeah.
Be it emotion or some actions that you want to change a mindset. Yeah, I think it works. And the most important thing, the last one, is to appreciate yourself for this, for willing to take the effort to do something about it. Appreciate yourself, and then appreciate other people as well. When you start to think about things that are happening to you, and when you really start to appreciate yourself as a person, as a human being, and that's when you start to start appreciating other people for being the great human beings that they are really. But a lot of times we kind of put ourselves behind. Others come first before us. So learn to love ourselves more. I think when we love ourselves, we are more forgiving of ourselves. When we allow ourselves to make mistakes.
And learn from them.
And we learn from it. And I think that is very important.
Then we also kind of learn to use our gifts We learn to collaborate with people rather than fighting and resisting all the time. Yeah, when we all pull together as one, we realize that we can achieve that much more.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of everything.
Thank you so much, Lay Keng, for coming and sharing your thoughts with us today. My guest, Tan Lay Keng, who is a corporate trainer and life coach, sharing more about transforming our lives through mindset change. You can find out more information about her at her Facebook page. It's MBS Wellness. That stands for Mind, Body, Soul Wellness. Or you can email coach96@ymail.com. And if you would like to share something that will help us lead better, happier lives as well, get in touch with me. Email eugene@mediacorp.com.sg. I'm Eugene Low, and this has been a Slice of Life Hour here on 938 Live. Thank you so much for joining me today.